All right, we're gonna get this thing going. I have a little bit I want to say. One thing I would like to mention, the fact that I do know James Weiler, and he was very gracious enough that to have a friend of mine put one of my campaign signs on his property during the last election. That being said, I have no problem with conducting this hearing whatsoever. Before we begin, I will briefly review the procedure we will follow for this public hearing. Please remember, this is an official proceeding prescribed by Idaho Code. This proceeding is taped as part of an official public record. We ask that each speaker state your name, place of residence before giving testimony. The hearing will begin with the applicant's statement, which in this case is applicants James Weiler and Jennifer Nylander. Then the floor will be open to allow comments from members of the public. First from those who are in favor of the proposal, next from those who are neither in favor nor or opposed to the proposal. Finally, from those who are opposed to the proposal, after each person speaks, members may ask questions of that speaker. After each member of the public has had a chance to speak, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement to refute any concerns, answer any questions, or clarify the proposal. Again, members may ask questions. Once this process is concluded, I will close the hearing and no further testimony will be taken at this time. The commission members will discuss the application and work towards each reaching a decision. Are there any questions on this procedure? I will state the fact that what we are going over is a road variance to the county road. That's what we're dealing with. And that is what we will hear about. Now I open the public hearing for the county commissioners to consider the road variance application 4-2023, an application for variance to Boundary County Standards Ordinance 2020-2 regarding proposed approach location request by applicants James Weiler and Jennifer Nylander. This is a proposal upon which county commissioners will render a decision. President Commissioner, do you have any, Ben, do you have any comments? No. Wally? No. I do not. With that, we will ask for a staff report.
So at the last variance hearing, it was continued, recessed until today, and it was at the commissioner's request for the applicant to provide a 3D drawing and to see if they could change the location of the southern approach and explain the northern approach, which are two separate variances. And the applicant has provided a narrative, an updated exhibit plan, and also 3 pages of 3D drawings. And I will let her explain those as we go through. We did receive one additional comment that I would like to read into the record. And they were just urging support for whatever variance might be required to allow the development of this retail store on Homestead Loop. So the rest of their comments dealt with the business that would be located, which this variance does not consider, but they were voicing their support of the variance. So I'll read that into the record.
Are there any questions from the staff?
No.
Will the applicant please step forward?
Yes. Do you want me to stand or?
Whatever you want to do, whatever you feel comfortable with.
I'll be standing. Do you want me to introduce myself?
Yes.
Okay. Jennifer Nylander, 805 Tryon Street in Daphne, Alabama. I represent the developer on this project, Hicks Snedeker
Would
Development
you
Company.
speak up, please?
I'm trying the best that I can. I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize. I represent the developer in this project, Hicks Snedeker Development Company. We are located out of Daphne, Alabama. We are the preferred developer for Tractor Supply Store. We have developed over 100 stores throughout the country, and I'm pleased to be here with y'all today to present our project here.
So if you wanna,
Yes, so I have written a narrative which walks us through the timeline of this project, and if you'll bear with me, I would like to read off this as we walk through the development. Okay, so first off, we've been working on Bonners Ferry as a tentative site for a Tractor Supply store since 2017. Both Tractor Supply and Hicks Snedeker Development settled on Mr. and Mrs. Byler's site for a variety of reasons. One of them being availability and availability to a main road, being Highway 95. Having said that, I would like to walk you through a typical Tractor Supply site plan and familiarize you with what it looks like. So, as you can see, we have the store itself, which is a 19,200 square foot building. To the side of it is a typical fenced outdoor display yard. Those of you that are familiar with a Tractor Supply will understand that inside of this outdoor display yard are those bigger, larger implements that can't be stored inside. Customers will come in, they will buy the merchandise. They will drive through the drive aisle, have the items put onto their vehicles, and then they will drive out and exit the development. We've also called out our permanent sidewalk display yard, which is typical of a Tractor Supply store. Those are going to be items that are seasonal in nature. Could be dog kennels, could be some mulch, could be a variety of things depending on the store location and what their seasonal needs are. We also provide our permanent trailer and equipment display area. This is not included in our parking lot. It is a self-contained area. These items are hitches and trailers. They're chained down. They're for display only. The customers would order them and then come and pick them up when they arrive. We show two access drives here. The first access drive is, they're both off of Homestead Loop, as we're all aware. The first access drive, we were able to push 5 feet north, which is the new variance that we're asking for is an additional 5 feet.
actually, it should be more than that. It's 300 feet from Hillcrest instead of 284.
Right. So we were able to push it, I'm sorry, an additional 15 feet. Thank you for correcting me. So we were able to push it an additional 15 feet. On our elevation, you'll see that we heard you the last time, we increased our landscaping up on the northern boundary. We've included stop signs at each egress from the development. And let's see what else am I missing here. Our proposed stormwater management area is self-contained to the south of the development. What am I missing here? Yeah, I think that's a basic Tractor Supply store in this particular one, in a nutshell. Yeah, let's go to the 3D elevations now. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, so this is the first page of our 3D renderings. Over in this corner is where we put one of the stop signs that was asked for the last time we were here. This shows the store itself. It shows the sidewalk display yard. It shows where the fenced outdoor display yard will be. You can't really make it out on this rendering, but these back here are some of the trees that we've included as part of our increased landscaping. Let's see. Okay, so this is going to be a look at the store. If you're driving north on Homestead Loop, this is going to be the elevation that you'll see from Homestead Loop. So it's the side of the building, which shows you that we've kind of brought some of the elevation design around the side of the building. Up here, you can see a little bit better some of the landscaping. Bear in mind, it is a 3D artist rendering, so you'll see some of the landscaping that we've added since the last time. Okay. This is the elevation from the north looking south. So what you're seeing here is the back of the building, and this gives you a better idea of the increased landscaping that we're doing to the north side, which buffers the neighbors. And so that's what we have for your consideration.
Are there questions there? No? Okay. Now I open this hearing to public testimony. Please state your name, place, and residence for the record. If you have written material, please read it into the record or present it to the Commissioner's Deputy Clerk. Is there anyone present that would speak in favor of this application? Seeing none. Is there anyone who is uncommitted on this proposal and would like to speak? Yes.
First off, I'd like to know who that for comment was for as a public records. Can we know the name of him? And does the person live within the county? It should be public records.
Yeah, he's in the county. No,
So the name, and does he reside within the county, please?
no. Chris Wheeler, Moya Springs.
Okay. Is Chris Wheeler a family member of the Bylers? Okay.
No.
Just because they live on Wheeler, so I didn't know there was a link.
Okay.
Second of all, two-part question for the lady, please. Is there adequate backing up space to keep a person in a trailer from hitting the propane tank? And the second question is the people who are going to be parking with their trailers for loading and unloading on that front row closest to the highway, are they going to be backing into a main road that goes to the north end of whatever business that becomes one day? And is that safe, since that's going to be a main traffic road? Or driveway, I don't know what you would call it. I don't know the right terminology, I apologize. Thank you.
Okay, so I think that this gives us a better view of the question that you're asking. So
Okay.
you could just re-ask that question again.
Okay, no problem, thank you. So the first question is, we'll just start with one at a time. So the parking lot closest to the turquoise, and I apologize, I cannot see as,
This is the proposed access road.
right, so is it trailers on the east side of that where the pink is? I believe that's pink. Is that where trailer are gonna be parking?
No, this is the permanent trailer display area.
Okay.
This is where Tractor Supply will display their items for sale that are chained down.
Okay,
So their hitches, their, any 3-point item will be in this area, this pink area permanently.
Okay.
as a
what about on the west portion closer to the building?
Okay, so are you talking about pulling in through this?
What I'm saying is there gonna be vehicles with trailers pulling into that main road that's going in and out of Tractor Supply and that north 2 point something acre lot that hasn't been sold yet?
This lot?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as of right now, for the sake of the Tractor Supply development, our access drive stops at the demise property line.
Right, but we understand it will continue most likely. So are there going to be vehicles with trailers backing into
I
that?
can't speak to something that happened.
Okay, so-
that I don't
We
know.
are still dealing.
Okay, no problem, I can rephrase it.
We're not dealing with
Yes.
operations of the.
Okay, I can rephrase it. Will there be vehicles with trailers pulling into that turquoise area? Backing in and out?
There will be vehicles, there'll be cars, there'll be pickup trucks. There could be people coming to pick up items that need a trailer and pulling in here to load items onto.
Can I
here.
come forward? I think we're confusing. So you see these right here? Those are pretty long.
Those are for people with trailers that are going to, this is why we designed the parking lot the way we did. These are made to pull directly in here and then exit this way and come out.
Okay, that makes sense. And then I believe you have your propane right here.
The
Is that
propane
gonna
is
be
here.
safe?
Well, as you'll notice, this is all kind of chalked off here. There are bollards and there are,
Safety
there are
mechanisms.
certain safety mechanisms.
Thank you.
Correct.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who is uncommitted on this proposal that would like to speak?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Thompson, I live near there, and so I understand this is road variance, but you're also talking about a specific business. And I live right there. So what I didn't see on your lovely picture were the floodlights that are gonna be on and shining in my backyard, and on my neighbor's backyard, and, disturbing the animals that, you know, we raise there, etc. I mean, I could go on and on, I won't bother. You know what I'm talking about. It's bad enough that they're across the highway and shining, but right in our yards kind of bothers me. So that's why I know this is road variance, but still, was Tractor Supply's plan for that kind of thing, to mitigate the disturbance of the neighborhood? Just curious.
I can address a little bit of your concern. We designed to what they call dark skies design, which we can't go above a certain lumen. Our lights are all contained to the parking lot and the building. And additionally, we have to abide by whatever local ordinance you have for lighting. So if your lighting ordinance says the lights have to be turned off at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, that's an ordinance, that's a local rule that we would have to follow.
I don't know that we do have that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think we do.
There is an ordinance.
Great, so, there should be. Okay.
Okay, is there anyone present who would like to speak in opposition to this application? Yes, Cal.
My name is Cameron Smith. I know you addressed at the beginning of your presentation, Mr. Berkeley, but I would like to make it as record that I do believe there's a conflict of interest, citing that there was a tractor trailer sign that the person who's selling the property had put on there, and it was put on 2 weeks before the application was made, and I do believe that is an egregious conflict of interest. In addition to that, I do have a question about how you're planning on getting the traffic in and out of this. Are you having the expectation you have a tractor trailer going to oncoming traffic and then turn into the property to make deliveries?
If you'll give me a minute, that's something that I feel more comfortable having my engineer answer. Paul, would you mind speaking to that question, please?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Paul Marcinko, Chief Consulting, 208 North Greeno Road, Fairhope, Alabama. It's right down the road from Daphne. Jennifer is obviously there in person, but I was not able to make the trip out there. The question I understand is about the truck entering and exiting the site. You're likely looking at our approach exhibit, which shows the truck path, kind of idealized or I guess even worst case scenario of the truck operation coming in and out of the site. What was the question exactly?
So is the expectation that the tractor trailers that would be coming in to make deliveries, would they have to come into oncoming traffic before turning into the business? Thus creating a safety danger for anybody coming down the road.
Because the road's not wide enough.
Because the road is only about, it's like a lane and a half.
Right. I'm looking at the exhibit right now, and I see that we have unfortunately shown it to come over into the other lane. But as I'm looking at it, the 45-foot radius that we have, we'd be happy to increase that radius, rerun that truck path, and be able to come into the site without doing that. You know, we'd be happy to meet that requirement if that's something that the county would like to see.
I think for safety concerns, it definitely should be taken into account. The other part is that most of that road during winter months get highly ridden with ice. And so you can only go down with one car. The other question I have is that the I-95 variance, as far as getting into that, has been shot down, is that correct?
The I-95 was never an option.
Okay, so does that not change your selection process for making that property the most ideal property that you want to go with?
No, it does not. There are many other factors that go into it, and I would just also like to point out that you keep referring to multiple tractor trailer deliveries. They get one a week, so just.
During high
Full
traffic? During high traffic?
That's the last question.
Well, it does matter because you're inferring that they get multiple tractor trailer delivers a week.
Again, you as the person not operating the business, you're just selling the land. So I don't know if you actually would have full understanding of all these things.
I have worked for this company for a number of years. I've worked on 100 tractor supply stores before. So I'm just
How
answering
much
your
is
question.
Okay, fine.
Let's not do the back and forth.
Okay, so then, again, safety concerns about how the tractor trailers are coming in. That road is not designed to take the amount of traffic that it is. The other part, I'll just finish this out. Mr. Bertley, again, I would like you not to make the vote because of the conflict of interest.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition to this application? Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure that I'm speaking in opposition, but I'm confused.
Well, can you state your name, please?
Oh, sure. Patricia Quayle, 64 Heights Loop. Just over the road. I'm not sure, I can't, maybe it's my eyes, but I can't tell from this display where you're asking for, it's my understanding that if I read it correctly, a north variance and a south variance. Did I understand that? Where are they?
So, I'm sorry, this is what we are referring to as the southern access drive. This is the main access drive to the store.
I see.
Additionally, we had to provide a second access drive to the north. The reason we had to provide that one is currently the seller, Mr. and Mrs. James Byler, are retaining a portion of the property. The only access to water for them is on Homestead Loop. 3 Mile Water District has a requirement that in order for, if this ever gets developed, they have a direct access to the water on Homestead Loop. So we had to provide this access drive for this property.
Oh, I see. And so that's like the yellow part where the people drive down the middle to pick things up?
So
That's
this,
behind, is that behind the landscaping?
so this is where the body of the store ends and the fenced outdoor display yard ends. This red line is the property, the property. This is an access drive here, and then this is a flag, this is gonna be the flag lot here.
And what,
It's called a flag lot. It's the lot that's going to connect from Homestead Loop to this remainder
oh,
property.
to the water?
Correct.
Yeah. And is that where your water's coming from as well?
Unfortunately, we have to dig a well. We're not going to tap into 3 Mile water at all. We're digging our own well.
I didn't know we had water up there. Did anybody know that? You don't know that, okay. So, that other, entrance from the north, is only a courtesy entrance for the property owner?
It's really, that's its only intent.
Okay, so that's not where the, once a week delivery of the trucks will go down there?
Occasionally, they may use that drive, but the intent was really to provide the access road for the retained property.
I see, and then is the landscaping on the north side of that road?
Yes, so, at our previous hearing, it was brought up to our attention that there's a neighbor to the north here, that would like to have some increased landscaping, so we added that in lieu of a fence.
I see, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there any, right there. Anyone else have,
We'll let Kyle go first.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Kyle Harris, and I'm speaking today regarding the proposed Tractor Supply Company at 87 Homestead Loop. As a resident of this area who frequently uses Homestead Loop, I am concerned that the proposed store could have severe consequences for pedestrian safety and bicyclist safety. I and many other residents frequently walk and bike on Homestead Loop. The road is designed as a simple rural two-lane road that has a speed limit of 35 miles per hour, and I frequently see many who clearly exceed 35. And it is primarily traveled by residents of the area. It also has several blind intersections and dips that provide little time for drivers to slow down or stop for a hazard. It does not have adequate pedestrian facilities or traffic calming, making it a risk for those who decide to take a stroll or a bike ride on it. If any more high-speed traffic were added to Homestead Loop, it would become outright dangerous for all traveling on it, and is especially likely to prove fatal to pedestrians and bicyclists. If a large store such as Tractor Supply is built, it is all but certain that traffic will increase on the road and will endanger the lives of residents nearby. The increased danger associated with the influx of motor vehicles on the road will have a disproportionate effect on children and people with disabilities who are less visible and less mobile than other pedestrians. As a power wheelchair user, I can testify firsthand that I frequently encounter vehicles in the blind spots of the road who do not see me until they are within approximately 200 feet. This gives them little time to move over and avoid hitting me. Approving this development would only increase the frequency of these hazardous encounters and the likelihood that they result in tragedy. I do not speak today against the mere idea of Tractor Supply existing in the 3 Mile area. I believe the business itself is well suited for the area's demographic and will provide great economic stimulation for Boundary County. The Homestead Loop is not designed to handle this kind of development, and the residents of the area should not have to endure their lives being put at risk every time they go on a walk or a bike ride. It is for these reasons that I implore the Commissioners to vote no on the Tractor Supply on Homestead Loop. As a person with a disability, I can attest to the day-to-day challenges inaccessibility poses in Boundary County. Please don't let those challenges turn into fatalities.
thank you. Is there anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name's Michael Sykes. I live just right there on Heights Loop. And I wanna know what you guys are gonna do for when we have breakup during spring on that road. Cause that restricts the limit of weight that goes down that road. That doesn't allow semis to be traveling down those roads. So what's the plan for that?
Okay, so I just wanna make sure I understand you correctly. You're referring to from here to here?
That whole stretch of road has breakup limits on it every year.
That's what he's referring to.
Yes.
That's what
Is
he's
that-
referring to?
yes.
Okay. I can't answer that, I'm not an engineer. I'm gonna have to defer once again to my civil
And then
engineer.
the other part of that question is, so what if those semis come in at the light at 3 Mile and come down Moonshadow and then come down Homestead? That's also breakup limits.
That's not what we're proposing.
But the trucks don't care which way they come in. I used to be a truck driver, I know. So,
Well-
we don't pay attention to that.
Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot answer that
Yeah.
question.
What's that?
Can I answer
Yes.
that? Sure. So let me answer that. So Renee Nelson with the Road and Bridge Department. So as we move forward through Boundary County, Some of our roads that actually have cement treated bases underneath them, we are extending the limits of the roads that are open and don't require permits. Homestead Loop is one of those roads that leads to Moon Shadow that has that base underneath it. So it very well could be that they could go in and out. If we choose, like we do on some of the roads now, to still close it, we do offer permits. And most truck drivers do get a hold of us and they abide by the weight. And generally delivery trucks, we are able to get in and out of closed roads. They still have to, business still has to go on. We just limit the direction in. It could be that a business like that would be directed to go in Homestead Loop and not go Moon Shadow around. But we work with different ones. That one does have the ability to be able to be open to the Tractor Supply store year round.
I just want to address this. Our suppliers are typically going to be coming from the Coeur d'Alene area. They're going to be coming north on the highway. They're not going to overshoot the exit right there and go back around. I mean,
To the truck stop first and then come back.
well,
Yeah, I
again,
mean,
I think as far as your concern with the road and breakup limits and that, I think Renee addressed those, with that, with the fact that we don't shut down the business and they can get permitted to get in there. Yeah, and everything, so. Yes, ma'am.
Patricia Quayle, 64 High Street. That's interesting. I didn't know. You said it has a cement under it, the blacktop. So when the bigger trucks come through, they won't break up our road?
It's a cement treated base. It means they mix dry cement in with the gravel base and it's rolled out, and then we have pavement and chip seal over the top of that. So it's not like a cement walkway.
Right, but so we're not gonna end up with, broken road, right?
No.
Hopefully. We're north still, so. Is there any further comments?
Yes. But I do want to put in the record, I'm neither for or against. I know I'm at the tail end, but I'm listening to everybody's comments. I am neither for or against, but I do want to put in the record.
State your name.
Oh, Adrian Norris. Thank you, Ben. I do want to put into the record that we need to look at our comprehension plan. All these people's concerns could have been addressed. And I understand Tractor Supply wants to come up here, and that's great. Healthy competition's great. But if we don't prepare for more businesses coming in, as they are, and I know you know that, we're going to be stuck with our tail between our legs with problems.
Yes, we will be addressing that.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, my name is Stephanie Harris. I live just off of Homestead Loop. I have a list of concerns here that we put together, but number one is increased traffic with a higher risk of accidents and congestion in an intersection that is one of the most dangerous intersections in the area. Turning off at 95 already is sketchy with people coming in to go to the dump, people coming off of Homestead Loop, people coming off of the north end of Highway 95. So what were the findings of the independent traffic study?
I'm going to defer to my civil engineer. Paul?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was trying to unmute myself. Jennifer, we do not have a traffic study for this site. I do not believe it was a requirement of the county. And IDT didn't require it. All they said was the same thing that I just heard, which was that the road is a high-speed road and we could not access the highway, and therefore we were required to access Homestead Loop. So therefore this site has actually been kind of shoehorned in there, and cannot get access from any road except Homestead Loop. So, kind of stuck. Can't get access from anywhere else.
So that's pretty concerning to me to hear that you can't do a study because of the ice and you're gonna put more trucks, people stopping and turning.
That's not why we didn't do a study.
No, I'm sorry, that's not what I said.
Oh, I heard him say
No,
you couldn't get
what he
it.
said was, and why I wanted him to answer was, we weren't required to do one. The county didn't require one, Highway
I heard
95 didn't require one.
And I heard the ice too, that they didn't
Oh,
access.
I'm sorry, I think what I said was IDT, so the Idaho Department of Transportation. So basically, they said that the highway, the high speed of the highway there, and the dangerous section of the highway, that we would not be able to have access to the highway. The existing asphalt apron that is shown on the exhibit there is going to be removed. They will not even let us use that apron to access this property, from that area. So that's the reasoning behind why we ended up designing this off Homestead Loop.
My next question is specifically, what is the estimated increase in traffic when combined with that of the recently approved housing development across the street for 30 homes?
I can't speak to the housing development. I can only speak to the typical traffic generation for Tractor Supply. Typically, the peak hours are on Saturday afternoons and then late in the mornings during the week, and they generate about 35 cars.
Commissioner, does anybody have a response to that? What are we gonna do when there's 30 more homes on Homestead Loop or turning in off of Homestead Loop?
I'd say very possible the intersection there will have to be reworked in some way, and that'll be addressed at that point in time. Those 30 homes also have another problem, and that is water.
Right.
So, in that respect.
And I guess from Road and Bridge, so currently Homestead Loop is classified as a minor collector. A collector road, either major or minor, are designed to connect local roads with arterials. They're designed to provide mobility at lower speeds and short distances than arterials. US 95 is an arterial. They balance mobility with land access. Homestead Loop provides access to all that side of the road, off of it, and then traffic from Moonshadow, side roads off of Moonshadow, as well as Hillcrest. That's why it's a minor collector. And as a county grows, then it comes to Road and Bridge's responsibility to get with the Idaho Transportation Department. If we have a growth, sometimes the minor collectors get reclassified as to a major collector. But once the road's there, it's basically designed to take the traffic. We can't deny anybody access to their property. So that's what the roads are designed to do.
Thank you. So what is the plan to improve safety at Homestead and US 95? I guess there is no plan until we grow and then we look at possibly putting in a traffic light.
Not there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a very good idea. And I will address that later. So roads are not wide enough or designed for increased traffic with little room for sidewalks without cutting into personal property. The safety of pedestrians, which Kyle mentioned, and children will be compromised even further. An inevitable increase in accidents is a threat to the public and would likely tie up resources of the Sheriff's Department and emergency services. I'm really concerned about the safety of our people here. You know, that's to me quite concerning, and I hope that you're hearing us. Increased noise and pollution from passing vehicles will be a nuisance and pose potential health issues to the neighborhood. Property values of adjacent homes will decrease as a result of this project, harming the investments for which residents have worked all of their lives. Is the county going to compensate residents for their losses?
That was commercial property before Heights subdivision was approved.
Didn't they get a,
No.
We did not need a variance if that's what you're going.
there was no variance done for that property. It was already commercial.
Everything
That's
east,
new to me.
everything east of Homestead Loop is commercial. So all that in there is commercial.
So all the homes in there too?
Those are at zone commercial.
Not all of them.
Most of them are,
Thank you. Please correct your statement.
most of them.
Thank you.
So,
Okay,
It's weird. It's zigzagged. I don't know why it's zigzagged.
the intersection at the top of the hill on Highway 95 is unsuitable even with a complete redesign and addition of traffic lights. Any traffic stopping and backing up down the hill in winter with icy roads, specifically large trucks, could get stuck and pose a sliding hazard. Furthermore, coming up and around the bend with views partially obscured by the hill could lead to some missing the traffic light if there was one, altogether increasing the risk of an accident. Further commercialization and expansion will put additional strain on electrical systems, possibly driving up costs. Adding another store to the local economy may look like a revenue opportunity to the county, but Tractor Supply's negative impacts on existing local businesses will likely offset any gains in tax revenue or increase in employment opportunities. In conclusion, this is the worst possible location for a new Tractor Supply store, and there are multiple locations in town that are far better suited for this purpose. If this is the best location, why do you need variances to make it suitable? It was unbeknownst to me that there was not a variance put in place.
we deal with road variances throughout the county. It's just the way it's designed to ground.
I was
So-
talking about the zoning, but okay.
Oh. We're only dealing with the road variance on this. As far as the zoning goes, that was already zoned that way. So
Okay.
we're not dealing with that today.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any further comments, or I will close this hearing to additional testimony? Oh, sorry.
Can it just be an open comment? Do I have to be
Yes.
present? I just want to clear something up. I represent Jim Byler in the sale, and he told me about regarding the sign, Tim Bertling's sign, that he had never met Tim Bertling, that a third party, Tim's friend, asked his son if he could put a sign there during the political campaign, and he said, is he a good guy? And he said yes, and the sign was there. It was not between Tim Bertling and Jim Bertling and James Byler, so I just wanted to clear that up.
Are you a lawyer for Mr. Byler?
No, I represent him in the sale.
In the sale?
Okay,
Oh, Darlene Schneider, sorry, I didn't say anything.
there being no further
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, yes.
my name is Gerald Kirby and I live in Monastery. And I'd just like to comment on all the work that you guys have done, and I appreciate all the effort that the County Road and Bridge has made in thought processes and procedures and the allocations of time and effort that you've made to make variances and changes in the plan. Looks like it was a well-designed program, and I appreciate all the effort that you've all put into this.
And you also represent Byler with Pace Realty in connections?
I own Pace Kirby and Company, that's
Yes,
correct.
correct. Okay.
Going once? Going twice? Okay. There are no additional comments. I will close this hearing to additional testimony and call for a decision among members or discussion amongst us.
I have a question for the engineer.
Okay, Paul, you're getting a question.
You stated earlier for the access at Freighter Field, which is the one that we're dealing with right now.
No.
So we're dealing with, okay, I'll still save that question. I'm mixed up because we've got to put them all together here. I'll save that question. So this is the one, the 70, or for the north driveway.
To get the access for the water for the other piece of property.
So amongst ourselves, if we're gonna approve that variance,
Mm-hmm.
I would like a condition that the wall and the trees are put in place as proposed in the plan.
Can I answer?
Yes.
Okay. We didn't show the fence based on the meeting, the last meeting, the gentleman whose house we abut indicated he didn't want a fence because he was going to do some solar panels.
I just wanna understand where it's gonna be.
That's, okay, that's why we enhanced the landscaping in place of the fence.
So what I meant by the wall, and that retaining wall in the picture in
The
there.
retaining wall has to be
Yes.
there anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. But we're gonna, the enhanced landscaping was in lieu of a 6-foot fence to do landscaping, to give him some privacy and respecting that he wanted to do some solar.
Yeah, there's gonna be a significant cut as far as to level that all out.
Correct.
In that area.
Yes, it's quite the project.
Yes. What's that?
So the comment I have.
Comment? Well. We have
Okay.
I move to approve the variance request of applicant landowner James Byler and applicant Jennifer Nylander. Parcel number RP 62N1R NR 1E1455551A for a road approach that does not meet Boundary County Road Standards Ordinance 2020-2, Section 3.3. With the following conditions, A through J.
Let's make it with a K with enhanced landscaping on the north.
A through K.
Yeah. We have a motion?
You have a second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Closed in, we've got 10 minutes before the next hearing. We ask that each speaker state your name and place of residence before giving testimony. The hearing will begin with the application statement, which in this case is applicants are James Byler and Jennifer Nylander. Then the floor will be open to allow comments from members of the public. First, from those who are in favor of the proposal. Next, from those who are either in favor or opposed to the proposal. And finally, from those who are opposed to the proposal. After each person speaks, members will be asked questions of that speaker. After each member of the public has had the chance to speak, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement to rebut any concerns, answer any questions, or clarify the proposal. Again, members may ask questions. Once this process is concluded, we will close the hearing and no further testimony will be taken. At this time, the commission members will discuss the application and work toward reaching a decision. Now, I will open the public hearing for the county commissioners to consider road and bridge road standards variance application 5-2023, an application for a variance to Boundary County Road Standards Ordinance 2020-2 regarding a proposed approach location requested by applicant James Byler and Jennifer Nylander. This is a proposal upon which county commissioners will render a decision. President R. Wally Kazart, Ben Robertson, Tim Bertling, and we need Michelle Rohrweiser, Randy Morris, Renee Nelson, and Jennifer Nylander, and members of the public. Is there any member of the commission who has a conflict of interest and cannot participate in this hearing? If so, please step down. Wally Kazart.
None.
Ben.
No, none.
Myself, no. Now we will ask for a staff report.
Okay, so At the continuance hearing, commissioners asked to have some 3D drawings and also exhibit redone to see if there was a possibility of moving the southern approach any farther to the north. Jennifer provided an updated exhibit and also a narrative that she will provide for you, and also 3 pages of 3D drawings. We will add those to the record, and we also have one additional public comment that will add to the record. They just were requesting that commissioners be willing to look at any possible variances that would allow the construction of, or not construction, to allow the approval of the variance requested.
Any questions? Applicant.
Okay, thank you all. I'll state my name again, Jennifer Nylander, 805 Tryon Street, Daphne, Alabama. I represent the developer, Hicks Snicker Development Companies. We're happy to present the Tractor Supply to you, in this case, a variance for the Southern Drive. As indicated, we were here last month. We went back, we took another look at our civil plan. We were able to get an additional 15 feet, so we were able to push it from 285 to 300 feet from that intersection. Really happy we were able to do that. There are several reasons we weren't able to meet that extra 30 feet, and it all has to do with pedestrian circulation, the way the store is laid out, the way the parking is laid out, and any further where that drive access would hit, and why we couldn't design it in keeping with the storm drainage and the slope of the property and the boundary line. We hope that we've done enough.
Very good. Are there any questions for the applicant?
Yes. The truck turning radius that kind of got addressed earlier,
Yes.
is your engineer still on the phone about
Yeah.
making that wider?
Hey, Paul, you still there? Okay, so what the question that was addressed earlier, during the Northern Drive hearing is now being brought up again about the turn radius, how we're kind of showing it drifting into the southbound lane of Homestead Loop. Can we contain that turn radius on the northbound roadway of Homestead Loop?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I thought earlier the question was about that in particular, but now that we're onto this driveway, I don't believe that would be an issue. We can expand that radius out and show that truck path, and if that's what's required, the county wants, then we should be able to meet that.
Do you have a number you can put on that for a width that would be better?
Paul,
From current to what it would be?
did you hear, were you able to
No,
hear
I'm
that?
not. No, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at a width per se. I'm looking at a larger radius that would accommodate the truck to come in without encroaching into oncoming
You'd
traffic.
be cutting down the inside corner. Yeah.
I think what he's talking about is instead of coming and doing this, he's kind of gonna bring it in.
Do you know what the radius is? Oh, can I ask?
There's a 45-foot radius shown right there, if you see the dimension.
And what would it likely be?
Yeah, 50, 55. I mean, we could go bigger than that, but that's a pretty large radius for an access.
The 55-foot radius?
That's, yeah, that's.
Nod, yes or no? Yes.
Yeah.
You know more about it than I do.
So 55?
Yeah.
So Paul, without affecting negatively affecting the integrity, we would be able to push it to 55?
Yes, we could do that. That shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. There you go.
Now, I want to make sure I'm talking about the southernmost radius on the southernmost driveway.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, now I will open this hearing to public testimony. Please state your name and place of residence for the record. If you have any written material, please read it into the record and present it to Commissioner's Deputy Clerk. Is there anyone present who would like to speak in favor of this application? Seeing none, is there anyone here, anyone who is uncommitted on this proposal and would like to speak? State your name, please.
Adrian Norris, just wanted to clarify that approval letter. Is that Chris Wheeler again?
She has in the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone here who is uncommitted on the proposal and would like to speak? Or is there anyone present who would like to speak in opposition of this application? Seeing none. If there are no further comments, I will close this hearing to additional testimony and call for a discussion among the members.
Only thing I would add to it is the 55 radius.
Yep, that would be the next condition, but, okay, Jay? Okay, yeah. I will just say that, compared to where we started at with the first public hearing, I do like where we're at now. This is a better design, better for the, for everyone involved, for the county, the community, and everything. I think it addresses quite a few issues.
This is at 300 feet now, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
Yes.
if there is no further discussion, I will call for a motion.
I move to approve the variance request of applicant landowner James Byler and applicant Jennifer Nylander, partial number RP 62NR1E1455551A for a road approach that does not meet Boundary County Road Standards Ordinance 2020-2, Section 3.3.B, with the following conditions, 1 through K, and K is a 55-foot radius on the south entrance.
We have a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll now close this public hearing.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.